Let's go ahead and talk to Jordan from California. Jordan, what's your question?
Hey guys, I don't know if this would be a short question, but I would like to say that I wonder, we talk about our religion a lot on this channel, at least I assume. So what's the difference between religious beliefs and non-religious beliefs? Is there any way to make a distinction? Because the idea of religion is such a broad category. I wonder what you wouldn't consider religion.
Okay,
Sure.
so to me, like, and this is not the dictionary definition. This is the colloquial. This is what I understand other people to mean by this. That what differentiates a religion from non-religion is a central authority figure. It answers the questions about before life, after life, questions like that, and then it has a system of wow, what's the best way to put this? Like rituals and worship associated with that. So those are the three things that stand out to me. I know it's not technically a textbook definition, but that's when somebody approaches me about what is religion, those are the three things that stand out to me. Martin, what's your answer to this?
Yeah, I would say generally a religion is something surrounding a deity or deified being. Some religions can be nature religions where the nature is the deity. And so that's the thing with deities is, in my opinion, they're all made up. So is there a great definition of what is a deity and what isn't? Not really. It's kind of hard to come to strict definitions of things that are made up because, I mean, really, if we talk about it, everything is made up.
Yeah.
But, you could call a rock whatever you want. It's still a finite object. But when we get into fluffy language and we don't have a finite object on the other end of it to describe with the fluffy language, that's where we get into this big mess.
Yeah.
And so
then not to jump to,
I look for, go ahead.
Not to jump to conclusions, but usually the reason somebody asks this question in the first place is to try to make some sort of equivocation between religious belief and non-religious belief. And somebody who's a theistic believer will say, well, look, you have faith too. So you're no better than us, it's like, well, you worship money the same way that I would worship God, and usually it's to try to draw some false equivalency to try to legitimize a religious belief.
Well, to answer the part B of his question,
Yes.
A non-religious belief would be something that's not tied to a deity or deity-based system. So, like, let's say I believe I can fly and I jump off of a building. Now, that's a stupid example, obviously. But if that were to happen, I'd say that's a non-religious belief as long as my belief in flying isn't tied to a deity or a religious organization. It's, maybe my belief in air going up and not down or something stupid. But anyway, my point being, believing in aliens could be a non-religious belief. Believing in Bigfoot could be a non-religious belief. So there are non-religious beliefs, and that's where I really like the word supernatural. I generally lump all non-religious beliefs in things that I don't find to be demonstrated to be true. I guess I'll phrase it that way. To be to generally be that, whereas religious beliefs are obviously just around a deity.
Does that mean that you don't consider, like, if we're talking about like a central deity figure, you may have to emphasize what you mean by that. Does that mean like so-called religions like Jainism or like Buddhism? Well, they may not believe they like goddesses in some forms in like Theravada Buddhism, but like not specifically, but
well, that's
and you can draw some interesting distinctions between like what makes
religions.
You can make an interesting distinction between what is the difference between a religion and a philosophy, like a life philosophy. There's interesting distinctions to be made there. To me, though, I mean, what ultimately is important is what is the other person trying to get me to agree to a definition for. And I'm sensing that there's more. I wish that we had more time for this, but we are rapidly nearing the end of the show. Jordan, I wish that
a few minutes. No,
okay, all right. Okay, let's hear.
What are we getting into? Let's not put it for next week, Puck. This isn't going to happen again, bud.
Guys.
All right.
What's up, Jordan? We're in overtime now. What's going on?
Sudden death overtime.
I appreciate you guys for your time, first of all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but like. It seems like when we make a definition of something, it has to be something objective, because otherwise, like we've been discussing for the last like thousands of years, like what is justice, what is being with Martin Heidegger, and like what is gender. And if it's all subjective, then it just means like all these debates seem to be worthless. And because things like knowledge and all those types of definitions seem to be.
Wait, hold on.
Stop. I want to draw a very firm distinction between something that is objective and drawing that idea that if something is not objective, it's worthless. Okay.
And then I want to go.
No.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
No. I know you're not. I know you're not. But I'm glad Puck drew that line.
Let's just get this down right now, okay? Because ultimately, what's going to be important is how we deal with each other. There are a number of people who think of morality as how did this person describe it, as like appealing to a standard or appealing to a higher authority, or how we deal with each other. Okay, and how we deal with each other and how we deal with the society that we're with. This says more to morality to me than being correct. Okay, so that's just me, and we don't have time to get into that now.
Get into this.
I don't know. I'm just giving an example. Okay.
Well, yeah. I wanted to address.
That's usually where people go when they start saying the word objective. So I'm just trying to head that off.
Yeah, but let's not head off our.
That is fine.
Hold on. Yeah, I was gonna say let's not try to head off our caller. Let's let our caller make the argument and then parse it.
Okay. All right.
So what I was going to say is you said that things that are subjective are meaningless.
Yeah.
If I think that a painting is beautiful,
I didn't say that.
Oh no, okay, no. Hey, my apologies. If you didn't say that, then I misunderstood you, Jordan. Okay, this isn't the gotcha game. If you didn't say that, then I misunderstood you. So what did you say?
It's fine. I get you guys. It's cool. Okay, so essentially what I was saying is that when we look at knowledge and when we look at like debating about beliefs, it seems because we have this sense of disagreement about the definition of formal terms like justice, knowledge, and belief and things of that stuff, like debate all the time in epistemology. It seems like it's not something to be subjective because otherwise, like when we get into when we get into definitional disagreements, it means that we're kind of presupposing the idea that one definition is superior to another. And also I'd make the argument that like if we were all to have like individual definitions of like concepts, then how could communication ever be possible? Because
oh my god, I'm so ready.
Communication depends upon the idea that we at least have some shared concept that we're talking about when we get into discussion. Otherwise, we couldn't have any shared meaning that we're talking about with each other.
Don't let me hold you back,
Jordan. Hey, Jordan, we do have a shared concept of justice. It's called the government that we formed 200 and whatever years ago, and the governments that were formed before those. That is what humans do. We come together and form society. A third party did not come in and install a government in America and then leave. We did that to ourselves.
Wait. That is there. Like when you're talking about justice, like the United, that's just like an instance of justice. That's not like the definition of justice, right?
Well, why do we need the definition of justice?
Goes and makes laws, or like it helps us with rules.
Jordan,
stuff,
do you?
Right? But that's
Jordan,
like a particular instance. That's not like the universal like of justice.
There is well, that's the problem. There is no universal justice. There's only situational anything. Everything is based on the situation in which it happens. There's nothing that happens in a vacuum. If you can find me justice in a vacuum, I will give you $100. I don't even know what that would be. What is justice in a vacuum? What is justice without a victim and a perpetrator? What is justice without restitution? And restitution requires physical means. Like justice is directly tied to people. So if you're talking about this concept of justice, you're trying to find an answer where none exists. Justice is situational. I would love it if you'd go talk to like some judges or lawyers about justice. And because the way that you're talking about it is this pie in the sky abstract of, oh, justice, like you might as well be saying Jesus. There is no true justice in this world. There's only the justice that we create for ourselves. And the way we create that justice is by collaborating and deciding, oh, okay, so Farmer Bob went over and killed Farmer John's, cow. Okay, now Farmer John has to give Bob a cow. That's justice, right? That's my understanding of justice. But would it be just if, we went in and we beat the shit out of John and then took all of his cows and gave them to Bob? No, that's not justice. And we can all agree on that, I hope. And so ultimately, again, justice is humans coming to an agreement about what is just. There is no universal justice, at least none that I've ever found. And I won't pretend that I've searched the entire universe. But I think your
Well, like,
pursuit
when I'm
of
saying
these
this,
absolutes.
I'm not here to even presuppose this like sort
No,
of like
hold on. Let me wrap. Give me
justice
Jordan.
behind
Jordan.
that.
Jordan. Give me
chill.
15.
Let Martin
Give me
finish.
15 seconds, and I'll hand the mic right back to you, brother. We don't monologue here, though I love to. Basically, again, where was I going with
Sorry.
that? Fuck. All right. No, go ahead. You're fine. I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry for interrupting you with that, but
It's okay. This is spicy.
I'm not trying to
hot topic.
say this any sort of like platonic form of justice or anything like that. But even if we're like coming with this conception of like language games where our society forms like concepts according to like rules in a chessboard, except they're for like every concept. You have to form a theory in like how individuals interact with these different concepts. Like,
Jordan,
okay, what does it mean to say that we all agree upon a concept? Does it mean like if we form concepts in our brains, like mental states, then how could it be that I could share that mental state with another individual?
You could describe it using words that human then understands. I mean, you couldn't perfectly describe the exact mental state that you're having because that would require your physical state to be copied. Because, from my understanding, our mental state is derived from our physical state, as in if there is no physical state, there is also no mental state. So again, how could that be? Well, it couldn't. You're looking for these universal perfects, these, oh yes, we had the same thought, or this is the same justice, or this is exactly what gender is. All this shit is made up by humans. All of it. All of it. The entire thing. The whole of humanity, life, it's all just us. And that's an incredible concept. And it took me years to accept it as a former religious person. But once you do, you realize that you have way more control over your life than you ever thought you did. Because you can decide what justice is for you. And you can work with others to decide what justice is for them. Like that's life, dude. There is nobody's going to come in and say, oh, this is exactly what this is. Nobody created language except for us. We created language because we needed a way to talk to each other better, not because somebody said, hey, make a dictionary. And I know you're not claiming that. I'm not trying to, that came off a little straw man-y, and I'm not trying to straw man you. I just want to make sure that I'm making the point that in your search for objectivity, and that's why I love Dan's name, I don't think you'll ever find it. But keep looking and let us know if you do. With that being said, Puck, if you have any closing thoughts.
It is time to wrap up the show. Thank you very much, Jordan, for calling in. I get the feeling there's a part 2. And I would love to engage with you again.
This is a central question, that relates to what you said.
Jordan, we really don't have time for this. I wish we did. I'm going to have you either call back. Martin, Jordan, I'm either going to have you call back or look at our other methods to get to you, and we will absolutely talk about that.